Before I begin, I'm recording this November 5th, Sunday. Terrible shooting happened at a church in Texas. Forgive me if I don't remember the exact areas. I'm very frustrated right now and sad for everybody that was affected and still is affected. You're in my thoughts. I know that doesn't do much. I'm not going to post an angry rant here. That's not what this video is about, but to everybody affected in Texas, those still affected from Vegas and various other incidents, shootings, whatever. You're in the thoughts of so many people. Just for whatever that's worth. That's the case. I'm not going to post an angry rant though. That's not what this is about. Top 10 underappreciated animated movies. And no, I'm not going to talk about anime movies per se. One Japanese film doesn't make its appearance on here for reasons I'll go into. Anime movies I'll do another time. There have been a lot of really good ones from Studio Ghibli, which I believe is how you say it, and a few others. So these are ones, and there is one Disney movie that makes an appearance. Mostly these are non-Disney movies that I feel don't get the appreciation they deserve. Just whether they were they're just forgotten about through the sands of time, the sands of the hourglass, and so are the days of our lives. How is that show still on the air? I mean, cool, the people are getting work. But anyway, the 10 underappreciated anime movies, really, it's a list I just came up with the other day. And the reason I decided to do this is I was like, okay, people seem to be enjoying the top 100 least favorite horror movies list I'm doing, and I still have more of those coming up. This is just me talking about some of my favorite animated movies. Once it popped into my head, once I thought of one, I was like, okay, I thought of a bunch of others. I actually left a few off because I was going to do a top 20 and I decided to narrow it down to 10. So here are my 10 favorite. If I don't remember some of the cast members, forgive me. I'm really just going to talk about why I like the movie. So just forgive me if I don't remember some of the cast members. And if I don't delve too deep, I'll just talk about why I like it. So anyway, number 10, Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland. Originally from Japan and brought over to the U.S. about 3 years later. Pretty much the movie that actually turned me on to Japanese anime. Now Japanese animation. Now I was aware that it existed. Even at the time in '92, I was 11 when this movie came out. I just fell in love with it. I loved Nemo video game, the tie-in, whatever, that was hard as balls. I did manage to beat it, but it was hard. It was kind of like side-scrolling, like, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers type thing. Except Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers wasn't that difficult. But Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland, a boy, as any young boy would, any young girl, also any child, would have fantasies of being in a far off realm, far off land, of enjoying yourself, having fun, grand ideas and everything. Well, he gets sucked into one of his own fantasies, he's taken away to, Slumberland, where really Mickey Rooney is like the only recognizable voice, or at least like, a big name. He plays Flip, who's the, the weird-faced creature that's with Nemo. And Nemo, of course, for those who don't know the story, he ends up unleashing ancient evil on accident and has to basically save the world. He has to save Slumberland. He has to do this. And, okay, it sounds kind of silly hearing a 36-year-old guy talk about it, but look at it from when I was 11. And I watched it since then. I actually still enjoyed it. I haven't watched it for a number of years. I actually do need to pick it up on DVD and or Blu-ray. If it's on Blu-ray, I need to pick it up. But this was just really enjoyable. It had a grand scope to it. The characters seemed larger than life. The whole idea of Nemo being against this ancient evil, the centuries-old evil, really, really cool and kind of spooky and everything. Again, I was 11 when I saw it. I mean, but it's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable movie. Fun, grand stuff. It just really moved me. I mean, it's entertainment at the end of the day. It's not quite like the rest of the movies on this list where maybe they move me a little bit more, but this one deserves to be at number 10 because really it's one of the first non-Disney animated movies I remember as a kid seeing in theaters that I just really enjoyed. Terrible that it was a box office flop though, which I don't understand. But then again, I think Aladdin came out at the same time. I think Aladdin came out in '92. So that might have been part of the problem. I just meant animation overload. Number 9, The Prince of Egypt. a big budget epic, an epic idea from DreamWorks Pictures about the Book of Exodus and following Moses. For the PG rating, it really has some graphic stuff in it. At least graphic for 1998. I mean, now you can get away with a lot more stuff and a lot more innuendos. But it had a grand scope to it and a hell of a voice cast. I mean, look it up, you know, and you'll see what I mean. You'd have Val Kilmer before he started to have, you know, personal issues and stuff like that. But Prince of Egypt, it couldn't focus, of course, on every single aspect, or otherwise it would have been a 3-4 hour animated movie. But for what it was, even as somebody that's not necessarily a religious person by any stretch of the imagination, and doesn't necessarily believe in that stuff, I just don't. If you do, that's cool. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought for what it was and for the 98-minute runtime, it was really good. And that Whitney Houston-Mariah Carey duet, When You Believe, sadly about the last big song that Whitney Houston did. She might have done something in 99, but then she got hooked on the drugs, unfortunately. It was really one of the last times I remember liking Mariah Carey in a song, or in any song she did. But Prince of Egypt just had a grand scope to it, and was one of the successes for DreamWorks. DreamWorks Studios actually did really well with that. And then they did another animated movie, The Road to El Dorado, which had two guys that were con artists, got a map, got to El Dorado, got mistaken as gods, and they play it up, and then they get caught, and then they got to make up for it, and then they got to save them. They got to save the village from a city from something. You know, it's typical animated fare. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I mean, I almost put Prince of Egypt above Road to El Dorado, but I decided to do it this way because I found Road to El Dorado more entertaining. Prince of Egypt had that big scope. Road to El Dorado at least was entertaining. Unfortunately, didn't do as well at the box office as DreamWorks would have liked. Had a bigger budget than Prince of Egypt. Didn't do quite as well. But that's the thing, it was hard to market. It was a little too adult for kids, and it was a little too kiddish, or wasn't quite adult enough for adults. It's kind of like this movie Lady in White. That was the issue with that movie, which was a fun, okay, not a fun movie, but it was a fun little time capsule of, like, you know, Hollywood, where it tried to be something different. But it was a little too adult to be liked by kids, and just under being, you know, adult enough for adults to really appreciate it. But, you know, some people like it. But The Road to El Dorado was entertainment. Silly, it was. People say, oh, it reminded them of The Emperor's New Groove. The thing is the difference is David Spade wasn't in The Road to El Dorado. That's why it's better, because David Spade is trash. And I will continue to say that. I do want to say, by the way, leave in the comments which animated movies you guys really enjoyed. It can be Disney, not Disney, ones that you feel don't get the most love, and also anime movies. As I'll be doing that that list possibly at some point, maybe sometime later this month. But anyway, so Road to El Dorado, number 8. Land Before Time, the first one, not the subsequent sequels that got to where they were just sing-along stuff and they were really ridiculous. But this one where dinosaurs are having to get to this great valley, this lush greenland that can sustain them for a while. As the world starts crumbling around the dinosaurs, and you have the children dinosaurs, they would become mainstays in the series afterwards. It was from Don Bluth, who directed, I believe, the American Tail movies, and even directed a couple others. But this was a pretty fun movie. Pretty fun movie, and, you know, good time capsule. I do have fond memories of it as a kid. I mean, I think I was only 7 or 8 when this came out. Let's see, it was 1988, so I would have been 7. I might not see it until video, though, so I might have been 8 when I finally saw it. But it was enjoyable, and it was a little scary seeing these big dinosaurs trying to get these little ones, because, you know, kids are going to, you know, think about it like, oh, it's scary adults or scary creatures and stuff like that, so they could sympathize with the characters. So it worked pretty well. Number 6, Treasure Planet. How did this movie not do better? I mean, I know it was just basically a retelling of Treasure Island just with cyborgs and stuff in space, but it was good. It was really good and had this great animation and this great focus and this great scope and everything, and I don't understand why it didn't do better. I really enjoyed Treasure Planet. I mean, okay, again, the story boils down to basically just being a bit of a tweaking of Treasure Island. But for what it was, I mean, this movie had a phenomenal scope to it. It was enjoyable. It had a really good song by Johnny Resnick, I'm Still Here. That's just a bit, bit of a side note, but it was enjoyable. This was enjoyable and fun, and you had, the kid that didn't want to play by the rules and this kind of stuff, and what's going to happen. It was really, really fun. It was a really fun movie. I don't understand why this one didn't get the love that it that it should have gotten. And the same with, and I mean, I'm including this as an honorable mention, but Treasure Planet should have absolutely done better than it did. It should be appreciated more than it is. Also, Atlantis: The Lost Empire, I thought was a really fun Disney movie. The first one, the sequel, I don't really focus on because it was direct to video. But Atlantis: The Lost Empire was really fun. You had Vinny, I believe Vinny was the guy with all the inventions. There were paperclips, big ones. he was like an entertaining character. Actually, I worked at the theater at the time both those were out, Atlantis and Treasure Planet. I remember I saw Treasure Planet once or twice. I saw Atlantis like 4 times in theaters because we could see free movies. But Atlantis was also one honorable mention for being a pretty damn entertaining movie. Now, number 5, Anastasia. This is like one of the first big pushbacks of, another studio doing an animated movie that wasn't Disney, and had the story of Anastasia and Rasputin and the weird bat. I don't remember the name of the bat. I feel so bad. But you had a kind of a grand story to it, and Rasputin being the evil that he was, and this story of Anastasia falling in love, being rescued, this kind of stuff. Angela Lansbury was great in this also. She voiced one of the characters. So a lot of really good stuff with Anastasia. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know if they ever did a sequel. I remember watching this actually in an old twin cinema, 2-screen theater. That's how small my town used to be. That's when things were great. Oh, we better go watch it because in a week it might not be there. And then the big theater came along in 98, and that pretty much wiped that out. Now it's a Ukrainian church. Anyway, Anastasia was enjoyable. Enjoyable. I mean, not, of course, great, but very enjoyable. For what it was and what it was trying to do, and comparing to... It's wrong to compare it to Disney movies, because nobody's going to do what Disney does. They have to do their own thing and find their own audience, but bring in some of the Disney audience. And that's what Anastasia was able to do. Fun, whimsical, a little dark at times, but it worked. And then number 4, The Secret of Nim. Hey, you wanna watch what happens when rats and mice try to get their way, try to get out of the way of humans when humans are just destructive and trying to kill them? Well, okay, here's your movie. I mean, it's fun. I mean, I don't know about any of the other movies. I think they did a second one. There's a lot of like goofy sequels and very cheaply made sequels of tons of animated movies, so sometimes I remember ones that don't even exist, and I forget about ones that do exist. But The Secret of Nim, dark. I mean, dark as fuck. You got you got the kind of evil guy that kind of almost wants to become the cult leader, the leader of the rodent revolution, so to speak. And you got the mother characters just trying to take care of her 3 kids. Forgive me if the names go a little bit, south in my head. She even cuts her arm at one point trying to get underneath the fence, and I'm just like, blood in an early 80s animated movie? That's gonna scar some kids. Some kids are expecting happy and whimsy stuff. Nope, not here. I mean, kudos to the creators and the animators for being very adult and aiming at, something a little darker, but boy, it's not good to have your little ones watch this. I mean, at least got to be 8 or 9 to watch this. I mean, because, at this point, kids can be desensitized to anything. But very little kids watching this, and they might, be a little frightened by some of the stuff. And, like, the character Nicodemus, he's like the old wise one. He's a little scary. You'll see what I mean if you ever watch it. It's a little dark, but it's a lot of fun. Now we go to number 3, Ferngully, The Last Rainforest. Only the first one, fuck any of the other creations. The subsequent sequels and spin-offs and whatever. This was good. This is good. He had Tim Curry as a evil entity, because that's what Tim Curry essentially plays in movies. You had Rob Williams as the Bat. It's really all you need. And of course, you had a guy shrunk down. he's trying to save these, these fairies and everything. Of course, it's like Mount Warning, like this mountain that, may flatten them. Of course, there's humans trying to clear out the rainforest. Because that's all the human characters do. The human characters have to be evil in this. And of course, you get the one character that's shrunk down that has to, realize, okay, you know what, these are people too, or you're living creatures, and I have to save them. Even as he may not believe what he's doing. It's fun. It's fun, and Robin Williams just had a great turn as it's another great singing, it's another great goofy comedy character. They had a hell of a singing voice, kind of like, when he was a genie. Not quite on the same level. This did come out the same, I think actually Aladdin might have come out in 91, 92, but this was like a follow-up for him, and it was one of Robin Williams' finer roles for sure. Good stuff, enjoyable, and again, Tim Curry playing the evil. I mean, come on, what else is he supposed to play? Number 2, The Last Unicorn. Well, this is dark as fuck. A flaming bowl, I believe Jeff Bridges is the wizard. You have Mia Farrow as a unicorn, which is not the biggest fantasy she had to live out in her life, like being married to Woody Allen. That must have been disturbing. Especially what Woody ended up doing, marrying their stepdaughter. Anyway, Last Unicorn was fun. It was, I think, like, it even had one of the main songs by the band America. I don't remember the exact reasons, like The Last Unicorn, I'm the Last, is like some of the lyrics. Silly, but, it's the 80s, it was the early 80s, what do you expect? Last Unicorn was fun, though. I had a copy of it, actually. I ended up giving it to my parents. Because they would appreciate it more. But I remember appreciating it a lot when I was younger. My sister especially appreciated it. That one did appeal a lot more to girls, I will say that much. And I can see why, because unicorns. But, there were a good amount of guys, even, like, talking to, like, people at the movie theater. A lot of people I worked with over the years. Anytime animated movies got brought up, if we brought up underappreciated ones, Last Unicorn get brought up, and a lot of people, guys included, oh yeah, I remember that one. It was really fun. And it was fun. Stellar animation, great soundtrack. Really dark stuff, but hey, it was fun. Now we go to number 1, Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer. Kidding, even though that movie, fight me, wasn't that bad for what it was. Titan AE. This is the one that I just can't understand why it didn't do better. You have Matt Damon, Bill Pullman. There were plenty of other people in it. It was really good. Like, you had Earth blown up. The opening sequence of like Earth getting destroyed and people flying away as the dredge, the energy aliens, rain down and destroy Earth. It was a really moving sequence. It was really cool opening. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It was fun. It was a fun movie. Dark. It unfortunately didn't do as well as it should have, but it was good. It was really, really good. It was a role I actually enjoyed Matt Damon in. It's nothing against Matt Damon. To me, he almost plays the same role in a lot of the movies he does now. Not typecast. It just seems like his roles are the same. This one was pretty good, though. This one was pretty good. And, of course, Matt Damon, of course, is the son of this, scientist who had found a way to create, Titan AE after Earth, a way to create a new Earth. And that's what they found. That's what they found a way to do, even with all the evil, including one of their comrades turning on them. Not shocking at all. If you'd seen one movie, you could see it coming a mile away. Hell, you wouldn't even have to have seen a movie before to know that turn was coming. But Titan AE was a great movie. The animation, the soundtrack was really good. By Lit, Over My Head, and Power Man 5000. There were a few other songs on there, but I love the scope of it. I love the feel. I thought it was a really great movie, and that's why it's number 1. So that's my top 10 underappreciated animated movies. I really hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Thank you guys so much for, you know, liking, subscribing, sharing the videos. Even if you're not able to watch all the videos, I'm going to keep doing these various countdowns, movie countdowns, wrestling countdowns, so stay tuned. Anyway, what movies would you put on your list? What anime movies do you think are really good? Leave them in the comments. Like, share, subscribe also. So from Real Honesty with John Ritlin, I'm John Ritlin. I will see you all soon.